Hey, I'm Jonathan, and I live in London, England.
Hey, I'm Jeff, and I live in Perth, Australia.
Together, we are Ekko and Sidetrack.
We produce music that sounds like this.
And this.
And even this. This podcast is about music, creativity, and everything in between the giant space that separates us.
Welcome to A Band Apart with Ekko and Sidetrack.
We got sent a message from a mutual friend of ours on Saturday called reminding us of a promise that was made sometime last year. Do you remember that promise that you made?
Oh my gosh, you just reminded me of the fucking conversation. I was quite drunk on Saturday during that conversation. Now I'm actually just remembering that conversation actually happened. I remember the promise.
What was the promise?
The promise was if you and were going to commit, I would pay for an act. I would pay for you to have something removed. I said that I would pay for you guys to get a full Brazilian wax.
And now I believe 8 months on, the date has been set.
Whoa. That's news to me even. What's your date?
I don't know. I haven't really been thinking about it because I just remembered it. I remembered it today that we'd kind of tentatively booked it in.
I don't think you tentatively book that in. She's not going to tentatively pull the wax off. You should just fucking lock it in. What song are you going to have playing while you do it? Can I make a suggestion? A Whole New World from Aladdin.
A whole new world. Yeah, I don't know. It's
as she stares into your whole new world.
I'm not worried about the pain, but like revealing that part of my body to a complete stranger in my friend's living room is I don't know. That's an uncomfortable position.
What the position you'll be in, or I'm sure she'll make it very comfortable for you.
No, but just like, showing a random stranger your fucking secret hole.
I bet she's got one as well.
Yeah, everyone does. But like, I don't know that. Like, obviously,
you've brown-eyed people.
Yeah, brown-eyed people, but friends and family, not and not like this is like a kind of medical procedure to a certain extent. Like,
it's not medical.
Well, it's not medical, but it's it's not. In no way is it like a joke, and in no way is it like sexual. It's like
I'm finding it funny.
It's a procedure. It's procedural. That's what I mean. And I don't know. I'm not. I've been thinking about it because, like, obviously, a lot of girls get waxes all the time, and they're usually it's
a lot of boys as well.
A lot of boys too, but like I've talked to girls about it before, and it's like I've been like, oh, is it kind of strange just showing a part of your body to a complete stranger? And no, it's like it's nothing. It's
part of the job.
It's just it's part of the job. It's like you don't even think about it. But me thinking about it now, I was like, wow, that's gonna be odd. I don't know. It's interesting to think about the possible shame. I don't particularly have much shame about my body, but do I have shame about my asshole? Probably going to edit that
bit out. Don't cut that out. Do you have shame? Do you have shame on that?
I don't think so. No, I don't. I don't have shame about it. But it's weird to show a complete stranger. It's actually quite fitting that we talked about brown-eyeing people a couple of episodes ago, because now I'm going to like legally sanctioned. It's like a sanctioned brown eye.
And for time as well.
And for time.
It's gonna be like she's not going to be presented with it and it's not going to wink at her. She's going to be presented with it and it's going to eyeball her.
Yeah, and I don't know how quick it is. I don't also know how deep, how much they go down or... Also,
I'm paying for the full package, so
also, just to clarify, because obviously a Brazilian is all your hair, are we just doing butthole or are we doing scrum, testes, and trunk? Because I don't think I'm comfortable with doing all of it.
I think
that's a lot.
I think the important thing to do for me, based on value for my money, I definitely want butthole, biffin, and sack. I think it's the back crack and sack.
All sack or just the bottom?
Well, you take as much.
The bottom end.
You take as much as you guys want, and I think you and you two will discuss that. You three will discuss that.
Oh yeah, because that's the other thing. Is just going to be in the room as well.
Well, there's no deeper bond than staring into a friend's abyss.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I've never been waxed before, so
Have you had any part of you waxed?
No. Not even like a leg. Oh. Not that I can think of. I
feel like someone's done it to me once, like a bit on the leg or something.
I don't think I've ever dated a girl that's like had wax available.
Yeah,
and that's usually the where you get exposed to it.
Yeah, that's a good point. I can't, off the top of my head, I can't think I've ever been waxed.
I've been veted. Is that veet? Like the hair removal spray stuff.
That's a completely different kettle of fish.
Yeah.
I think that's much more of a chemical.
Yeah, chemical peel.
Chemical removal rather than a waxing. Now, if you like this, is it going to be something you do regularly?
What aspect of this?
Being free of hair. Yeah.
Probably. I don't know. I don't really know. I mean, that's like self-care 101, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean,
if I could
talk about fucking pruning the hedges and keeping the garden clean, you might enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I've actually thought about buying what's the ad? It's the sponsor for all so many podcasts. Trimmer.
And it will be the sponsor for ours, Jonathan. Manscaped.com.
Manscaped.com. That's right. I thought about buying a Manscaped the other day.
I'm not going to lie. It's crossed my mind.
Up until now, when I was living with I used beard trimmers. No, I'm just kidding. I would just I keep everything pretty tight down there with some scissors. And a razor. But maybe
use a straight razor, a pair of scissors,
use a
nail file,
and
a tiny pair of this like little sharp knife I bought in Japan.
Like you sharpen it on a whetstone.
It's a real
and then that's how you,
combination.
I had used my chef's knife before.
Yeah.
When it's super sharp because you can cut through basically anything, no matter how coarse,
including potentially your scrotum.
Oh my god! Can you imagine trimming your pubic hair with a fucking knife? But that would be insane.
Piercing the veil of the scrotum would be a nightmare. But you're about to have yours caked in wax.
Dip.
You should make a candle from the wax afterwards. In fact, as far as I'm concerned, that's what I'm paying for. Like,
I'll send you a candle that's littered with our hair and just like matted. That'd be so gross.
And then just burn it
with
the wick the wick of your hair entwined. Wow. Pop, pop, pop. This is straight in the oven. What gutter talk to get things started. Hey, welcome back to the podcast. If you're a first-time listener.
We also make drum and bass. Go listen to it on Spotify. We've got new music coming out soon. Do we care about that, or do we care about the status of my butthole? Find out next week and the rest of this episode.
How soon is? Don't give us an exact date because I think we should do a live podcast.
It's in the month. It's in the next month. I'm happy to record that onto a podcast.
I reckon.
Or a special
would be
put
really
it behind
good. I think
put it behind a paywall. We'll do something to celebrate it. But it is it is. I don't know. It's one of those things that I've never done in my life. It's a first, so that's exciting. You know, I think this year has been a year of many firsts for a lot of people. So to add this to my resume of my past year, I think is going to be quite exciting.
And I think you should add it to your resume, to be honest.
Yeah. It says here you've got some music experience. You've worked in kitchens. Oh, you also got your butthole waxed in November 2020. How was that? It was good. That's the defining difference between you and the other candidates, sir. I think you've got the job.
Congratulations, you've got the job. Let's pour some water down your waxed butthole and drink from it because we can do that because we couldn't do that with any other of the candidates. That's the skill we were looking for.
What kind of job do you think that being able to drink water from, that's like a human waterfall?
I guarantee you it's been done and people have paid for it.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Everything's been done. Everything you can ever think of has been done with the human body. Not my body. And I'm going to start ticking some of those things off the list. The other thing that I wanted to get done was, what would you say if I came to you and was like, man, I think I'm going to get a bank loan and I'm going to get a facelift and spend like 15 grand on adjusting my face like massively. And
then you showed me a before photo and then an artist rendering of what you were going to look like.
And I just looked like fucking like Liberace, or like, you know, someone that had like an older man who has clearly had too much work done, and just like complete
like that,
like a mask. Looked like a plastic mask.
Yeah, and you're like, this is going to be my look.
Yeah, I'm going to cut my hair. I'm going to shave the mustache
and turn into a wax model.
Going to turn into a wax model.
I think I would have to draw the line because, yeah, your appearance, you're a beautiful guy. And
thanks.
I would hate to have your face besmirched and ruined and tweaked beyond recognition.
I think the only thing that I would ever do is take some of the fat from my cheeks and put them under my eyebrows so it looked like I had a really strong brow.
More like Cro-Magnon man.
Yeah. He's more a Cro-Magnon man than man. It would just make me look tougher as well. You know, if you just had like a...
No, it wouldn't. It would just make you look like you had a pronounced forehead. I'm going to bash that guy in his pronounced forehead.
Just on my eyebrows. So it just made kind of lifted it up as well. So I just opened things up.
I'd take some fat out of my cheeks and put it into my thumbs.
Just have like a big
So I
thumb.
had big squishy thumbs. Do you want me to get that for you? And just like thumbs.
Open cans and
Ew,
stuff.
it's soft. It's fat from my face.
I think it's funny. It's funny that we'd both choose to take fat out of our cheeks, whereas because we've always had chubby cheeks, but that's also been like a defining feature that people have liked.
it's part of
It's part of us.
smile.
Yeah.
It's part of us, part of my face. And that's part of the reason, Jonathan, you can't make, well, like good plastic surgery, it should be quite transparent. You want to make very subtle changes to draw attention to the beauty that the creator has created.
Yeah.
And I say creator as in just the universe. You know, however your parents came together and did whatever they did. They created you, and you're a beautiful version. So any sort of work you get done should only enhance
Yeah.
and amplify that.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be trying to tweak it beyond recognition, because like it's like, you know, people that get nose jobs to have a certain kind of nose, but then that nose no longer
Yeah.
holds their face together
Yeah. I think you, like people I know that,
compositionally.
yeah, people I know that have had work done, it's always been like it hasn't changed them too much. It's always just been like slight little things, and usually about things they haven't felt comfortable with in their lives. Whether it's like a boob job or like something to do with their nose or brow or something small, and adjusting that hasn't changed the composition of their face, and they look great.
Yeah, I used to definitely have a bit more of a stand on it for some reason. I was like, oh no, you're beautiful. You don't have to do anything. But like hearing some stories about people that have had work done and it's been about something that's allowed them to change their lives in other ways.
Yeah.
I think it's quite important. And I think, you know, as long as it doesn't become too much of a slippery slope.
I think you have to have so much money for it to become a slippery slope, one. But you also have to be,
I reckon you could turn most people's forehead into a slippery slope if you wanted to.
maybe that's what I would do. I'd just make the whole forehead quite big to protect myself from rain.
That's very functional. I'm thinking of you just put a block of polystyrene in there and then get them to wrap it in your own skin.
Yeah. I could take the skin. I don't know where I'd take
Just
it
a
from.
flap off your back.
Would you get a USB put inside you? Sorry. Would you have a USB port? Would you have a USB port put inside on the side of your body?
I would put a USB inside me if I had the right music on it. I need you to take this across the border. Slide it in, bro. Would I put a port? No, I don't think I would. I'd want some pretty damn good reason to. If it was just to power some fucking lights that I'd installed in the back of my neck and on my elbows.
I got some sick LEDs under under my heels that's powered by USB. No, I think it would be like I don't know, you had like a 64 gig hard drive in your arm and you could download, I don't know. I don't know.
We're really not the futurists that
I wouldn't feel comfortable
people-
putting like technology in my arm unless it was tested thoroughly.
Oh yeah, but I mean, you know, how long till someone, you know, Elon Musk's Neuralink or something like that, you know, if you saw someone else getting some real great results,
Oh yeah,
and it was like $5,000
for extra brain memory or something.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'd do
It's
that.
like you can access the internet, and like, you know, you can access things, and like,
But the only problem is like that then what if something, and it would eventually go wrong, what if something went wrong? It becomes another variable. It becomes like something to do with your health. Like if you kind of wake up feeling weird in the morning of your lungs or something like that, you go to the doctor and they say, oh, you've you got a broken rib, and they diagnose it. But what if you had this neural link or some other kind of technology inserted into your brain, and you woke up one morning and you just felt fucking weird, or like there was a glitch somewhere, and you're like, it's software. It's to do with the software. You have to do a software update or something, and you're like,
you have to go to the. Yeah, you're fitting. You're at work, and you're not, and you're seizuring, and it's something. It's like, oh, the link. And it's like, bad update.
Yeah.
And you've got to get to the Tesla factory or something.
I'd want it to be pretty. Yeah, I don't know. Pretty keen on.
I don't know. We use a lot of technology now that's not that well tested.
Yeah, but it's different when it's outside your body.
Yeah.
I think, and especially if it's thinking about being like linked to your brain. I talk about fucking altering your life massively.
And how does that, to play devil's advocate, how does that differ to like drugs or something that alter your brain? Like, would you take a link? Would you take an implant? Would you have an implant, small implant, back of the neck, day, like a 30, 40-minute surgery, that you could then have it was linked to something in your brain that you could like buy a little game equivalent, put it in the chip, and then for several hours it created the effect of drugs, but it didn't have the same like debilitating effects of drugs. So you could trick your brain you're on drugs by using software.
But
there was also other things, like you could also just play games or learn things.
Stuff like that. So wait, how could you trick your brain to thinking it was on? Like all drugs, all substances put something in, like react with something that's already inside our body to make us do certain things within the brain, right? So it releases stuff that's already inside our brain, releases things and opens up certain parts of our brain, etc. So how would it?
Let's just be clear, neither of us are scientists, and
I think it's quite clear from the beginning of the fucking podcast that we're not scientists.
Yeah, I mean, just like a fake drug experience, or I don't know, like think about something. Try and think of a good reason you'd want the neural implant, rather than thinking of the worst possible scenario, and it just kind of gets a little bit sweeter, I suppose. The idea gets a little bit softer.
Yeah. So if you could have something that could replicate a transformative mushroom trip or some psychedelic, or gave you the feeling of the 4-beer buzz. Man, if you could make a drug that's like the equivalent of a 4-beer buzz or a 3-beer buzz that maintained, that didn't drop off, I think that's somewhere that we should go with, like, I don't know, people making new drugs every day. Like people make designer drugs all the time, but they're usually based around psychedelics or mixing strange compounds with this, I don't know, crazy stuff. It's more experimental. But if someone could just make, like a subtle alcoholic drug that gave you those feelings, that maintained the 4-beer buzz for like 4 hours, that would be sick. Because that's the best part about drinking. The part where you're like, I feel like I'm pretty good. And then you have one more beer and you're like, I feel like I'm pretty good. And then you become too drunk or just a bit of a dick. And that's when you it's hard to stay at that steady level. But yeah, if they could make that in cartridge form, not on like a Nintendo 64 cartridge, I'd probably put that in my body.
Insert it in your anus and blow it out. Like, occasionally go like a Nintendo 64 cartridge. Get the dust out and insert it back in.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. There is something about when you start changing and altering your brain, you know, you're completely right. Like, why would we be happy to alter our brains with any sort of pharmaceutical when we don't know the science behind that? Really, I just feels like software has so many more variables in it. You know, the chemical compound of drugs,
absolutely.
whether they be like Panadol or paracetamol or they be LSD, they seem to be fairly unchangeable. How we react to them is the thing that where the variable lies. But you know, software coding can be altered, and anyone can alter it.
Hack the planet, man.
Yeah, I don't know. There's
yeah.
part of me that's like someone could hack into you, or you know, someone reminded me recently when all iPhones played the new U2 single. So like iTunes downloaded U2's new single onto every single person's iPhone, and it started playing. What's up?
I thought I just heard someone come into the studio.
Why don't you go down and check?
Because that's fucking scary.
It's all right. Take me with you. We're on the podcast.
Almost as scary as talking about fucking U2 being on everyone's fucking iPhone.
Go down and check.
No, I don't think it was. I think it was just a banging from the roof or something, the wind.
Have you got a weapon in the studio that you would use if someone attacked you in there? If Carl went crazy? He's got base rage.
I would, yeah.
How are you? Carl runs into the studio. He's downloaded. He's got a fucking secret download of Neuralink, a backyard Neuralink, and it's going crazy, and he's got a virus of some kind, and he starts to attack you. You're sitting exactly where you're sitting now. The door to our studio is just to the right of Jeff, for those playing at home. What do you grab to knock him down?
I grab my water bottle.
Oh, yeah.
Give him a good thump.
Yeah, on the side of the head. I can see that.
But he's going to lunge at me.
Yeah.
And I'm going to fall backwards into the chair.
And he's gonna topple over because his equilibrium is off, so he like topples over. He's already a bit top heavy anyway. He topples over, falls down. You lean back and then just bomby knock him on the head with the chili bottle.
Yeah, I think that would be the move. And then I'd be like, "What's wrong with you?" I'd yell at him. I'd be disappointed.
And he's
I
like,
wouldn't want to kill him.
He's like, like he's just can't.
How have I heard of base rage before? Is this the first time I've ever witnessed it?
No, it's the first time you've ever witnessed it. But then Raya runs in and just like, he's got base rage. He's got base rage.
I wouldn't want to kill him. I'd just try and pin him down, like calm him down. What do you inject him with some liquid drum and bass?
Yeah. You play a hybrid mind tune.
Pun intended.
You play a hybrid mind tune and he calms down.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't kill Carl, but you'd hold him down. That's good to know. So you would feel comfortable. I mean, do you think if that stuff starts to happen on a consumer level, when it starts to happen and when it's, 25, it will be very expensive to begin with. Say you can buy 100.
Yeah, but so are power windows.
Exactly.
In the 80s.
So you buy like 100 terabytes of headspace,
yeah,
or memory for $100,000. It comes down to a more consumer level after 2 or 3 years, and it's suddenly like $5,000 for 100 terabytes.
Yeah.
When do you come into the market and buy some?
Well, put it this way: I would be pretty happy not to be an early adopter of this kind of physical technology. But at the same time, I wouldn't want to be there being overrun by the army of cyborgs and being like, I've never put a chip in me. I believe in staying natural, as they crush us and overtake the world.
Yeah.
So somewhere between that and there. Yeah, like I said, not in any rush to have any sort of robot inside me.
But would you be inside a robot?
A robot? No, I don't think so. I don't think, I mean, to change the angle slightly, I don't think sex robots appeal to me either. I don't like the idea of putting my penis inside anything that can mechanically grab and twist.
Oh man, I didn't even think
It's
about.
like putting your feet in those foot massages at the airport.
Yep.
Like feel how like they grab through the rubber skin, and you kind of like, well, if it didn't want to, wouldn't have to give my legs back. And just having that with any other part of my body doesn't appeal to me. I'm call me old school, but I'll keep my genitals out of the mashing teeth of a Mechanicon.
I think that's a pretty safe bet. Having sex with a robot also doesn't appeal to me. But I will say
that said though, John, that like having sex with version 1 of the robot doesn't sound very appealing. Having sex with version, which is basically fucking a steam train, versus like having sex with like version 5,000.
Yeah, that's
which looks like Ex Machina.
Yeah, I would have had sex with Ex Machina, the girl from Ex Machina, the robot girl from Ex Machina. Although she would have betrayed me so quickly.
Spoiler alert.
If you haven't watched a movie from 5 years ago, it's like someone saying spoiler alert before The Sixth Sense. You give spoiler alerts before The Sixth Sense?
I mean, I try and give people a spoiler alert before anything. You never know. It's just polite, you know.
That's true. I would have probably slept with her.
Yeah. I think we can both agree on that one. Yeah, I mean, robotic love. Yes, exotic robotics, Jonathan.
Well, maybe in 1,000 years, there's going to be like, it's like the Animatrix. And there's like people that are dating robots, and then suddenly it becomes, like into robo. Maybe it's an episode of Futurama. It's like into robo.
You robosexual.
Yeah, robosexual. It's like you into human and robot relationships is suddenly frowned upon.
Yeah, that robotic, the robot preacher, sinner. Yeah.
When robots become sentient enough that you can have, imagine if
it's her, man.
Yeah, her. Yeah, except with like a physical version.
I love that movie.
That's a beautiful movie. Beautiful movie.
It really is. Scarlett's voice. What a dream.
I also want to rewatch Lost in Translation.
I watched that recently. I watched that before I went to Japan.
Oh yeah, it's good preemptive strike with that.
He's got Bill Murray and Sophia Coppola have got a new one coming out.
They do. I saw the trailer the other day.
Going to be on Apple. I'll send you my login. I need to start using that, actually.
I actually saw a movie the other day. I saw Tenet, which we won't talk about until you go see it.
Oh, yeah.
I saw...
It just reminded me I have to see it.
Go see it, man. Just go see it by yourself. I watched it by myself. It was a great experience. Everyone in that cinema was watching it by themselves. I went to see it at 1:00 on a Sunday. It was beautiful. Anyway, that aside, I saw the trailer for the new Wes Anderson film.
Ooh.
Which looks like the penultimate Wes Anderson film.
Because I didn't love Island of Dogs, I'm going to be honest. Isle of Dogs.
Yeah, I didn't think it was amazing. I still think Moonrise Kingdom is his best. I need to see the Grand Budapest Hotel again. I've only seen it once, but I did like it. But I need
really
to
like
see it.
Grand Budapest, and I
need
like
to watch it
Moonrise
again.
Kingdom, and I really love like things like the Royal Tenenbaums, and it like
Man, all of them.
they're all excellent. If you've never seen a Wes Anderson movie, or if you haven't seen one in a while, let's watch one together.
We should.
You tell us when you're watching, and we'll tune in too.
We should watch a movie together on Zoom.
I've never done that,
Neither have I.
but basically, how? Yeah, the mechanics of that we can work out when we're not on a podcast. But yeah, that sounds fun.
But I mean,
We could just watch the same movie and then just talk about it afterwards.
yeah, maybe that's a better idea than like. Yeah, that's probably a better idea. That makes more sense.
Yeah, you've watched movies with people on the internet, haven't you?
Yeah. Yeah, I have watched movies with people on the internet. I was into chat roulette for a while and would often watch and stream films on there for people.
Sometimes the films draw of my body.
Sometimes my body. I just want to thank you for what you've done to your bodies. It's still real. It's still real to me. God damn it! Come on, man. Calm down. Take it easy, man.
If you want to know what we're talking about, look up It's Still Real to Me, God damn it, on YouTube. It's a wrestling fan that is very impassioned about wrestling. And it's just it's one of those, I reckon it's one of those internet videos that's like under 30 seconds that's just like perfect little glimpses of the world.
Yeah. That's one of the best. That's probably one of... That is something that I go to if I've had a bad day. I will go watch that video and be like, fuck yeah.
I went through a phase of loving that monkey grabbing the dog's tail video.
Oh, yeah.
The Hell Long Gibbon. That's an old video as well.
I feel like they're both like E-Bomb's world videos.
E-Bomb. Yeah, maybe that's a while ago. But yeah, definitely pre-YouTube.
Yeah.
Pre-YouTube. Did you have a demo for us this week at all, Jonathan?
I've written some demos, but I feel like I kind of don't want to reveal them to the people that listen to this podcast.
You're about to spread your asshole for a stranger. I think you can reveal a demo. Just play us a bit.
Okay. Spread your asshole for a stranger. That's fucked.
Is it?
I wish there was a nicer word for asshole.
There is. Bottom.
Butthole.
No, it's
The hole.
the hole. The hole is called the anus. She's gonna say, "Spread your anus."
She's not. She's just going to say, open it up. And I'm going to say, what do you want me to open? And she's going to say, just the cheeks, please. She's not waxing inside the fucking hole.
I think she's gonna say, "Please spread it out," and you're gonna say, "Spread it on," and she's gonna
Open it up?
because she's got to spread it on. The wax.
Yeah, but I think she spreads it, but not like lovingly. She's just like bang bang. I think it's going to be it's like a
it's not a slapdash affair. She's not fucking throwing up plaster and then refining it with a.
Yeah, but it's like a spat. What's the thing that you do plaster with? It's going to be quick. She's
trowel.
professional. A trowel. She's going to use like a small trowel, a personal trowel. I think it's going to be quite quick. In my mind, she's like spreading it open and kind of taking a look at it. And I don't think she's going to be doing that. I think she's going to be in and out, professional. I'm probably overthinking how much time she's actually going to be spending near the crevasse. So... Yeah, hi. I'd like a plate of big tunes and a serving of piping hot bangers on the side. Okay. Do you want to do... What about Factory Reset as the demo?
Play kerosene. Play 40 seconds of kerosene.
Okay.
This is something recent that we've been working on. I think that has the potential for some bits, but it's funny to listen to something you've been creating quite recently, and you're like, I don't think it doesn't riff enough for me. It's got some powerful parts, but it's just not quite working. But I mean, that's
It feels like it's got some cool elements, but feels a bit confused to me.
Yeah, I think this song's part. I don't know how much you played, probably like 40 seconds or something. It's definitely got some. It's about unlocking what parts are necessary to that song, and then like making them work for us. Because at the moment, it seems like there's one or two too many elements, and often we'll kind of we'll write a song with too many elements and then start muting things and be like, this is the song. And so that's like kind of how the song reveals itself in some way.
Yeah. I think just boiling, it's like making a good stew or a good gravy or stew. It's about reducing something down to its just key ingredients. And I think for me, I'm like, that lead that you added that's cool. That's like a cool syncy lead. That's cool. That might be the basis of another tune.
Yeah.
Like the bass pattern is sick, but like, is that going to be, that needs to be like brought to the forefront, and maybe that's the basis of the tune. The drums need to be like tightened up a bit and have a bit more aggressive and upfrontness. The intro,
I really like the drums.
Okay. Well, you're wrong. No, I'm just kidding. But like, there's things within the song that need to be like, it just needs to be boiled down.
Yeah.
It's one of those things.
Absolutely.
But I like it. I like that song. I like that
I
song.
think there's some potential. Shall we talk briefly about, we've got some upcoming music.
Sure.
We won't reveal exactly what it is because that would be, I don't know if we're allowed to mention it yet, but yeah, I think we're going to have something coming out before the end of the month.
Yeah.
Of September, which is a collaboration, and I really feel good about this one.
It's a bit different from Paper Birds.
Yeah, it's very different from Paper Birds.
I played the tunes back to back the other day, and I was like, oh yeah, this is still in the same. This is in the Ekko and Sidetrack universe.
Of course. I remember starting playing around with this song late last year. And I remember saying to someone who was messaging me at the time, they're like, are you going to come out tonight? And I'm like, no, I'm going to stay in because I'm working on something and I feel like this is a big one. And so I should actually try and go back and dig through and find that message and work out what night that was. But I mean, that would be purely masturbatory. But
it was good to remember.
It was about this tune because it was like when I was first having ideas on it, I was like, oh, this is coming together. And it's come a long way since. But the genesis of the idea is always maintained. And yeah, it's a bit of a heavy boy. Oh,
we did it. Like, buddy, we've tried to make something we would intro with for our whole careers. And you could intro with we do intro with Let the Light In. That was definitely one, but this feels like another intro tune. And we always talk about like, what's the intro tune? What's like, that's a difficult thing in music to write, in drum and bass, to write a song that you want to intro with. And this is probably the second one we've done. So,
and let's hope other people are going to want to intro with it as well. So,
yeah. But that's all we'll say for now. Maybe we can reveal a bit more. Maybe we'll play for the next week. We'll play a 1 second snippet of the song, and every week from then we'll add another second.
How about I'll play a second right now?
Okay. That was a 1 second preview of our upcoming single, which is a collaboration. Stay tuned. Okay, buddy. Well, quick question. How's your teeth?
Oh, yeah. I went back to the dentist and he inspected them, and he basically reassured me. He was like, well, you did some pretty deep work here. So like they're going to be a bit tender and, look after them and brush and floss and stuff, but they're going to be a bit tender for like potentially another week or two because, they have gone through under a fair bit of stress. So, he looked in there, he said they look great and the bite's good and, there's nothing that's making him feel nervous or anything. So, yeah, I feel positive. And it was a pretty quick little thing. But I tell you what he did do. He did a series of tests on them. And one of the tests was to fucking hit them with a little hammer. And he hit my teeth more than I'd like to have my teeth hit. I was like, you're going to bash my teeth out. And then he put some cold material on the end of a little thing and then put cold on them, and he's like, tell me if any of them are more sensitive to the cold. And they all kind of went like, ooh, ooh, ooh. But then the the feeling went away, and he was looking for prolonged sensation to the cold. But yeah, it's quite an interesting little test. But yeah, all in all, I feel better about my teeth and looking forward to giving them a brush not long from now. Thanks for asking, though. I feel more positive as well. I was definitely a bit of a grumpy, sad sack last week. I've got different things on my mind this week, but yeah. Enough of that. Thank you very much for joining me, Jonathan. I think you really made me laugh, and I'm looking forward to recording that live podcast with you. While you have your hole exposed.
Thanks. I look forward to doing that too. Maybe I could actually involve her and that I can ask her some questions as well while she does it.
She could wear a headset.
I'm sure we can find one.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. I love you lots. Thank you for laughing with me and making me laugh and having a great time. As always, I appreciate you and I appreciate your point of view.
And I appreciate yours from the back and the front. And don't spend any money on getting your face lifted. You don't need it. You're a beautiful man. All right, buddy. I love you. I'll chat to you soon.
Thanks for listening to this week's podcast. Make sure you subscribe to us on your podcast app and keep up to date with all new episodes. They're going to be coming out once a week. We are Ekko and Sidetrack on Facebook and Instagram. On Twitter, we are Ekko Sidetrack. Go listen to our music on Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, YouTube, or wherever your ears consume happiness. Lots of love, people.